Family has been with this bank since my father-in-law started it.
Are you a relation?
This is my son.
No, you can't see the uncanny resemblance, so you're implying she's under duress.
Now what I want is $260,000 in cash.
Is everything okay?
When someone needs that amount of money in cash, nothing's okay.
Birth, education, intelligence.
Just do it.
21.
Talent.
Yeah.
Looks.
Player wins.
I've seen you be $500,000 up.
I've been up $2.5 million. You got me feeling lucky. I'm putting everything on black.
Red's been coming up all night.
You want me to pay you now?
Maybe I enjoy watching the show.
19 red.
What's wrong with you? You got brain damage?
Hi everyone, my name is Robert, and you're watching That's the Movie. So today I'll be reviewing The Gambler. The Gambler is a movie, a remake from a 1974 movie with the same name, starring Mark Wahlberg. It essentially follows as an associate professor at a college who has a gambling problem, so to speak, and then he starts owing tons of money to very, very dangerous people. And if that idea doesn't sound, very original, it's because it's a remake of a movie that pretty much introduced stuff like this. This is a movie we've seen tons of times before. But the problem that I have with The Gambler is it is kind of hard to tell if it's actually a good or bad movie. And I think that's more on Mark Wahlberg's fault, because I think there was this whole scene where he was, teaching, and I just didn't believe that Mark Wahlberg was a professor. Like, I can see he was doing a good job, and his performance was, I could see that it was a good performance, but I just didn't really believe that Mark Wahlberg.
Do you know who does write at the highest level? When most of us, and even I, write barely adequately.
Is, a professor. And that part just threw me off a bit, and at times the movie kind of got, there was this one character in the movie who was just a minor character, but his acting was that of an after-school special from the 90s about doing drugs and getting in with the wrong crew of people. Like that one jock that shouldn't, that's trying to stay clean, but everyone else is all bad. That's the type of thing. That's where it came off, and it felt cheesy, and I didn't believe anything that kid said. But yeah, besides that, I guess I kind of did enjoy this movie in the end. It was pretty enjoyable. I kind of did care for the characters, and I think it's the fact that it was different from most of these movies about these gamblers that they start owing a lot of money to bad people, and you see them running around. You're like, oh, it's just feels like one giant thriller. But the thing about this movie is that it kind of focused more on the characters. More the relationships between Mark Wahlberg's character and his mother in this movie, and it was very, very good, very entertaining. I like that aspect of the movie, and it really, and that's when it shined, when it focused on those relationships that the character had to other people. And besides that one instance where Mark Wahlberg was, I guess, trying to be a professor.
Do you know who does write at the highest level? When most of us, and even I, write barely adequately.
Because I just couldn't believe it. I don't know if something in his voice, if that's what it was. Besides that, I think he had an overall really solid performance, and I enjoyed it. It was not something terrible like Transformers 4, but I did enjoy his performance here, and I do recommend people go check out this movie. It probably just, I think afterwards it'd be a good idea to check out the original, but it was just a very entertaining movie. But the problem that is not really gonna do that well is the fact that it's just like we've seen it already before. We've seen it in tons of movies before, and it's not going to feel any different just because we have Mark Wahlberg in the movie. And I don't know. I felt like it could have been better. It could have been way better, and it kind of just got stuck in mediocrity. I mean, it had a great director. It had the same guy from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and that movie was a surprise. And this movie sort of surprised me too. I enjoyed it slightly more than I thought I would. John Goodman was in this movie and did a fantastic job. I really liked him, but there was something about the movie that just didn't really, I felt like something was holding it back. And I don't want to point fingers, but I still feel like even though Mark Wahlberg gave a good performance.
Do you know who does write at the highest level? When most of us, and even I, write barely adequately.
I feel what kept this movie from being great was Mark Wahlberg himself.
Do you know who does write at the highest level?
It's not that he's a bad actor, it's just that there was something I didn't believe in his character in this movie, and that, you know, like I said, the professor part when he was being an associate professor or being an actual teaching the kids, and I just didn't believe it. There's just some parts of it, like, we could have gotten any other actor. Even Robert Downey Jr. probably would have been a better choice. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, would have been the perfect choice, Robert Downey Jr. to play his character. But I don't know. I just didn't really believe Mark Wahlberg's performance when he was a professor. But when he was just being a normal, I guess, guy, it was really good to watch. And at times this movie got very melodramatic and took itself too seriously. And it got a bit pretentious. And I'm like, yeah, we get it. It's not about a gambling addiction. Okay, we get it. It's not, so you're not doing anything that special. And I felt like the movie at the same time was trying to be like, hey, we're not like other movies about a guy who gets in depth with people, you know, that are dangerous. And I'm like, it's just slapping you in the face over with that idea. I'm like, we know, we get it. It's not that special. It was sort of cool, but that's it. But after all that, I still kind of enjoyed the movie, and yeah, I do recommend people go check it out. Not sure if in theaters, maybe if you're a really big fan of Mark Wahlberg and you love everything he does, like you have a shrine of Mark Wahlberg in your room and you like pray to Mark Wahlberg every morning, that's really weird. You really need help. But if you really like that, like Mark Wahlberg in that sort of creepy fashion, yeah, check out the movie in theaters. So besides that, I'd wait till like, I don't know, DVD, Netflix, or anything else. But yeah, that's the movie. Is a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, which came out in 1994. It stars Jason Sudeikis, Jason Bateman, and Charlie Day. And they reprised